I am so excited to show off my hometown of Gainesville, Georgia with you today. So Gainesville is a small town located about an hour north of Atlanta, and we sit right on Lake Lanier and at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. There is a ton of growth and development going on right here in Gainesville, and today we're covering the real reasons why you should consider moving to Gainesville, Georgia. Hi, I'm Sarah Maslowski with KeyPoint Homes Group. I'm a real estate agent and I serve the Northeast Metro Atlanta area, helping families just like you relocate here to Georgia. So my family and I were in your shoes about 8 years ago. It's really hard to believe that we've been here for 8 years. So we moved here for my husband's job, which brought us here, and we used to live down in South Georgia. And when we first moved here, it was really kind of shocking to me. So going from South Georgia to North Georgia, it's a completely different world. I've got an entire video on that, so make sure you check that out. But here in Gainesville, we have really come to love it, and of all the places that we lived, it is our absolute favorite. So I mentioned that we moved here because of jobs. Jobs is a huge part of the growth that is happening here right now in Gainesville. In 2022, the unemployment in Gainesville was at an all-time low at only 2%. And so there are a lot of industries that are coming in here, developing jobs and manufacturing jobs, and lots of great opportunities. In 2022, Site Selection magazine named Gainesville, Georgia as one of the top small metro areas in the nation for job creation and investment. Forbes magazine has named Gainesville-Hall County as one of the best small places for businesses and careers for the past 8 years. So speaking of new businesses, there are a ton of great new businesses right here on downtown Gainesville Square. Let's go check out some of these great developments that have come into the square. So we've got Thrive co-working space directly behind me. It's a really cool space if you work from home but want to kind of like go into an office and be with other people that are working as well. It's really, really great. Dress Up here on the square is one of my favorite women's clothing boutiques. You've got some really cool selections in there to choose from. All throughout the square, you're gonna find like really cute boutiques and gift shops like Upsy Daisy Boutique right here. And you're gonna find a lot of great options if you just need like that gift, and they're locally owned businesses, which I love to support. One of the things I love about living here in Gainesville is there's always some sort of festival or something happening, and the downtown square here is where a lot of these events take place. Like my favorite, the Mutts on Main. I love bringing one of my 3 dogs. They don't all get to come. They're not that well behaved. So I like bringing one of them here, and it's like really fun. You get to meet a lot of other dog owners, and they have a lot of different pet vendors and stuff like that here on the square. One of my favorite restaurants here on the square is Atlas Pizza. It's directly behind us. They have the best local pizza. It's locally owned. They've also got really good salads, and they have big salads too. So if you're gonna eat a salad for a meal, it's gotta be a big salad, right? Can I get a black coffee, please?
Of course.
Okay.
Today we have a wash process Ethiopia on drip from JVC.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, have a good day.
So Meadowlark is one of my favorite coffee stores downtown on the square here, and it's brand new. Well, they've been open for a little bit now, but it is such a great addition to this downtown restaurant scene. So Consuelo is another great new addition right here downtown on the square. It has fantastic local kind of upscale Mexican cuisine. And if you haven't been here yet, you've got to check it out. And it has the best like kind of crafted cocktail drinks. Like a really, really great spot for date night, kind of like your elevated Mexican dinner. And if you know me, you know that I love Mexican. All right, so I'm outside of downtown Drafts, and this is another one of my favorites here on the square. They serve up all kinds of draft beers, and they have craft beers. And a unique thing about this place is that for any of the restaurants here downtown, you can take to-go containers of their food. You can bring it here and pair it with their great drinks here. You can sit outside, you can sit inside. They have a great rooftop bar as well. Another really cool thing about downtown is that they have an open container law. So you're allowed to take your drink from one place to the next. This comes really in handy if you have a split household, maybe one of you likes wine and one of you likes beer. There is a great wine bar right across the corner here called Cork It, with a huge selection of great wines that you can purchase by the glass, and they have great charcuterie boards there as well. So you can go get the wine, you can have beer here, mixture, best of both worlds. So I mentioned how much I love Mexican food. This Taquero Tsunami is a fantastic little great Mexican joint with kind of craft Asian fusion tacos. They've got the best chips and dip there. And so that's a really cool restaurant right here on the square. All their food kind of has a little bit of an Asian flair to it as well, which makes it really neat. So you've got like poke bowls and tacos, which is a really great kind of diverse option for us here in Gainesville. You have a lot of great new shops coming into this building. This is called the Renaissance, and this opened up this year in 2023. They started building it in 2021. So you have really great retail shops coming down here on the bottom. The middle floor has office spaces, and then upstairs you have some really high-end luxury apartments they've yet to release. And so in addition to Meadowlark, if you need another great coffee option, you've got Boarding Pass Coffee that's set to open up here soon. We also have Kilwin's Chocolate, which is a very exciting ice cream chocolate store that's about to open up here soon as well. There's also going to be a great Italian restaurant coming, which I'm super excited about. Gainesville needs a new Italian restaurant. We really only have Olive Garden, and I'm super excited to try that out. So there is still a ton of growth and development happening and businesses that have yet to open right here in Gainesville on the square. So one of the things you need to know if you're considering a move to Gainesville is that Gainesville is the chicken capital of the world. We have a lot of chicken farming and poultry processing plants here. So we actually have a festival in December, and we light a giant chicken. I'm not kidding, there's really a festival and people celebrate lighting up the giant chicken. But downtown Gainesville, you are going to see a lot of chicken art. So right outside the square in downtown Gainesville, there is an area that they've recently developed called Midlands, and there is a fantastic greenway park there that they have a lot of festivals on. And if you've watched our other video about why people love Gainesville, that was at the Mule Camp Festival that was held right there in that green space. So there's a great outdoor park area that families love to come to and kind of picnic. You can actually walk to it from downtown Gainesville. And another cool thing in that area is there's a skate park. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to the skate park, but a lot of people here love going to the skate park, and they've got ramps and rails, I don't know, whatever you call it. They can do that at the skate park. They are opening a brewery called NoFo Brewery, and that stands for North Forsyth because they have a brewery over there in Forsyth County. So this is actually going to be their second location, and that's going to be a fantastic addition to the Midland area because you're going to have another great space that you can enjoy great food, great drinks, and also the great outdoors and that green space there as well. Another addition coming to downtown Gainesville is Bourbon Brothers Boot Hall, and this is going to be a great kind of like nightlife option for Gainesville. It's also going to be a restaurant and bourbon bar, and then they also have a 500-seat concert venue that is going to host small concerts, which is really cool. We don't really have any type of nightlife, so to speak, other than hanging out at restaurants and bars kind of around the square. So this is going to be something that is super cool. Another thing that you need to know about living in Gainesville, and this is not something that I would put on a reason to move to Gainesville, but earlier in the video I mentioned that there is a lot of chicken farming in Gainesville and chicken processing. Well, some of those chicken processing plants are located a couple miles away from downtown Gainesville. So occasionally when you're driving through Gainesville, you're going to see chicken trucks with actual chickens on them, and it's not the most pleasant thing to see. So another reason to put Gainesville on your list is because of the great location. So Gainesville is located an hour north of Atlanta, maybe an hour and 15 minutes depending upon traffic, but it's just up 85 and 985. So you have easy access to get down to Atlanta for concerts and events and get to the airport. It's also a really great location because just north of Gainesville you have the Blue Ridge Mountains. And as you can see, we're right here at Lake Lanier. And this is one of the biggest draws. What makes Gainesville so great is that you're right here on Lake Lanier. So today we're here at Longwood Park. This is a great public park here on the lake, but you have lots of parks all around Gainesville and Hall County, which gives you access to Lake Lanier to either put a boat in or just walk around, enjoy the great scenery and the great weather like we're doing today. You have a lot of people that have homes on Lake Lanier, so if you actually want to live on a lake and have a dock on the lake directly in your backyard, that is a great option as well. So one of the things that I discovered coming from small town South Georgia and living here, and I didn't quite understand this whenever we lived here, but you're so close to so many other towns. So if you ever get bored or tired of being in your town, you are just a short 20-minute to 30-minute drive to lots of other great things. And when I say great things, you've got many great towns that are nearby. So Athens is only an hour away. There's a ton of stuff to do in Athens, Georgia, home of the Georgia Bulldogs, last year's national champions in football, gotta mention that. And in Atlanta, you have tons of concerts and events and sporting events to go to as well. And then, like I said, you have the mountains that are just a short drive away. So one of the things that my husband and I discovered living here in Gainesville is that you were really close to a lot of great hiking trails. Literally hundreds of hiking trails that you can go on, easy hikes, hard hikes. You can see waterfalls. And so that's really, really fun. So sometimes we'll just pick a hike, get in the car, and within 30, 45 minutes, we are in a really great location, exploring someplace really cool and really new. Right now, at the time of filming this video, the average price point for a house here in Gainesville is $361,000. And that's relatively lower compared to other nearby towns. So if you compare Gainesville to Brazelton, let's say, the average price point for a home in Brazelton right now is $421,000. And if you compare that to Cumming, which is another popular town as well, we have great videos on Cumming, so make sure you check that out. The average price point of a home in Cumming is over $500,000. So Gainesville is really affordable when you compare it to other nearby towns. So speaking of house prices, not only is there high demand for houses here in Gainesville in new construction specifically, but Lake Lanier, it's really great. And so, but if you want to be on the lake and have a house on the lake, you're going to pay a premium for that. Lake home prices have risen drastically over the past couple of years. And you're gonna see that in order to get a home on the lake, you're at least spending $500,000. But really, if you want a decent house on the lake that is kind of move-in ready, or where you only have to do kind of like minimal updates, you're going to be in the upper $8, $9, $1 million range to get a house on the lake with a dock on Lake Lanier. Now, one thing that you will experience being here in Gainesville, and it's a great reason to really put Gainesville on your list, is the relatively low property taxes. So the effective tax rate for property taxes is only 0.91%. So take whatever the purchase price of the house is, multiply that by 0.91, and that's on average what your property taxes are going to be here in Gainesville. And that's relatively low, especially for our buyers that are coming from out of state. Another great benefit that you're going to experience, especially if you're a senior, is that if you're 62 or older, you're going to get partial senior tax exemption on your property taxes. So the biggest portion of your property tax bill is your school taxes. And whenever you're 62, they're going to give you a partial exemption from some of those school tax property taxes. And then when you turn 65, you're going to get a huge portion of that school tax property taxes kind of taken off your bill. So for a lot of our seniors, it's cutting your property taxes in half, and that is saving you a significant amount of money. Now that's going to vary from county to county, but here in Gainesville, they give the partial at 62 and the full tax exemption at 65. I made an entire video that really deep dives into what you get in different counties, so make sure you check out that video. So another real reason to put Gainesville on your list is all the growth and development that is happening here. And right now we're here at a great shopping center just off of Limestone Parkway. Y'all, when I moved here a couple of years ago, none of this existed. And it is booming. Now this is on the north, kind of eastern side of Gainesville. It's right where 985 ends. So if you are exploring a more rural part of Gainesville and you want to live a little bit out in the outskirts, maybe in Lula or Pendergrass, Gillsville area, this would be like the main shopping area that you would come to that would be closest for you. So you've got a great, humongous Kroger that is here. There's also a Publix that is going to be put in as well that's coming, but this area has seen an explosion of growth in shopping and restaurants. So you have an Ace Hardware, you've got a Nothing Bundt Cake. If you've never had one of their little bundt cakes, they are to die for, so good. You have Chick-fil-A that's going in here. There's a new King's Hawaiian restaurant. They're opening up their very first restaurant. So you know, like the little sweet Hawaiian rolls that you get at the grocery store? Well, that company, who has a headquarters here in Gainesville, they're actually putting in a restaurant that is going to go over here in this area. Cannot wait to see what that's going to look like, and we'll have to do a video featuring that when it comes. There's also a lot of great new construction that's happening in the area as well. So a lot of new construction developments happening right here. So this area would be the hub of where you would come to do a lot of grocery shopping and have a lot of restaurant options as well. So those are real reasons why you should considering moving to Gainesville, Georgia. Not only do you have a great location, a lot of growth and development happening in the area, you've got really great restaurants and businesses going in the downtown area, and you have reasonably affordable housing as well. Families love it because you've got lots of things to do, really great parks, all really great reasons of why you should add Gainesville, Georgia to your list. If you're considering making a move to Gainesville, Georgia, or any of the Metro Atlanta areas, make sure you give me a call. My contact information is directly below this video.